All right, you know what it is, man. I'm getting ready to start this joint up, man. I was gonna do another show, and I'm gonna tell you when I'm gonna do the other show on. I was gonna do it today, but while I was sitting here, one of my brothers called in that I know from in the joint. He home now. He a free man. So I was gonna do a show on me selling dope and heroin in Lompart, California. You know what I mean? In the midst of things when the wolves was out. But I'm gonna give you that one probably tomorrow. That might be my throwback tomorrow. But today I'm gonna give you my man, you know what I mean? My homie, my brother, you know what I mean? But let me bring my intro in first, man. Alright.
Keep it going, 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 keep it going. Make a what? Make a audio, make a what? Make a audio, make a what? Make a audio, make a what? Make a audio. I like the way it's going down.
Alright. Unique Mac Audio here, man. This here is a powerful show that I'm getting ready to give you today. I'm going to show you how I helped transform a young man from in the prison over 30 years ago into the man that he became today. I got my brother on the phone, Jeff. Jeff, come on, Jeff Taylor. Come on, big brother. Tell him who you are, man, and tell him who you are and how you got in contact with me from the comments on, all right?
I've been watching your content for a minute, you. How y'all doing, man? My name is Jeff Taylor. I had the pleasure and privilege of meeting Unique, like you said, about 30 years, right, you?
Yeah, 1995, 28 years ago.
28 years ago. I came in the Federal Bureau of Prisons. I was 19 years old. I was lost, confused. I didn't really know who I was. Like, we spoke briefly before you invited me in to do this. Really not knowing what was going on, lost, not a clue absolutely what was going on. Prior to me coming into the Federal Bureau of Prisons, I had never, ever in my life been incarcerated. Never saw the back of a police car, never been stopped by police, none of that, and just thrown in what you so eloquently call a den of wolves. And you were powerful to me, man. You know what I mean? Like we were talking briefly before you so gratefully brought me on. I ain't know who you was. You know what I mean? Being around a bunch of dudes in the joint, everybody had stories to tell. Everybody told this. Everybody told that. I didn't know who you were. I didn't know what your struggle was when you would sit around and you would tell the stories. I was in awe, but when I would walk off at night and go back to my cell, I'd be like, yeah, whatever. Dealing with my own demons, etc. But really took you for a joke, homie. Really didn't know, who you were and definitely what you were capable of. Like I said, the risk of being redundant, young, naive, which is not a good place to be. But it's crazy because I called you because I watch your content. And I know you and where you came from and the publishing of your book, the success of your podcast. So you did one. I forgot what day it was. I think it was like 2 or 3 days before. But I had just seen the joint, and you were telling the story about how when we were in Lewisburg, and you called us the misfit baseball team.
Yeah, gunshots to the misfits.
And that shit. That was an understatement, man. We came from all genres of life and different stories, and here you are trying to put us together. We were literally, we were the B team. We were the real B team on every level, man. But I reached out to you this morning, man, because I just turned 50.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I don't look for much these days, but a good laugh, a good heartfelt laugh, when it was genuine. I had to reach out to you. And upon reaching out to you, I didn't think that our conversation would go the way it went. And I want to share this with the other all the listeners that are out here listening, or when you do hear this, that I was a clown. I was young and dumb, not really know where I was surrounded, and you saved my life, homie. Like, I gotta be real with you. I didn't even know, like I said, I didn't even know that conversation was gonna go that way. You know what I mean? And literally, man, when you could have put my lights out, or if I had my lights put out, but the love and the generosity that you had, not only for me, but for others. You know what I mean? Like I told you, I said, I was just calling it, like, to tell you how proud I am and continued success. And you're so modest and humble that he was like, yeah, all right, yo, Jeff, I really appreciate that. Not like a brush, but like, yo, son, let me tell you a few things. You know what I mean? And you enlightened me on telling me, like, who I really was. And you know what I mean? Like, many encounters where, really, man, like, you don't even need to put it lightly, man. Like, you could took my life or had my life taken, man. It was that easy. But amidst what you were going through, you were so gracious and humble because you saw the real me. I didn't even know who I was. Like, you know, we briefly talked when I was in my backyard just now. I said, I just turned 50 the 23rd of May. And to be honest with you, Unique, I'm just now finding out who I really am. You know what I'm saying?
Tell him how old you was when we met, when you came into Lewisburg Penitentiary, the roughest prison in America at the time.
I was 19 years old, man.
And I was 29. I had 10 years on this young man.
And not only the 10, but it was really like a 20 piece because of your experience and the things that you have been with. I ain't been through nothing. I haven't been through nothing. I didn't even know who I was. I was a kid going to Norfolk State University. I was an education major. Just made some mistakes, drove some cars and some bank robberies, and some niggas told on me, and I ended up doing some time. But I carried that weight on me for years, Unique. I got to be honest with you. I carried that weight on me for years about, like, okay, I have not, I'm going to tell you, this is some real, this is like, in order, like I said, I live in my truth, as you do as well. I lost a lot. I lost my mother while I was gone, my grandmother while I was gone, I lost my father prior to me coming into the joint, right before I came into the Bureau of Prisons. And I had to come home with something like really like a false sense of bravado. Well, I gotta project this image like I'm a gangster because I just did all this time. It can't be in vain. So for years, I wore that jacket, and I wore that jacket proudly. And it was the wrong jacket, and I pushed a lot of people out of my life because of that, I pushed a lot of people out of my life because everybody I learned, like, the real true gangsters the way you would, a nigga wouldn't even know. I wasn't no gangster, you know what I mean? And I appreciate that from you because you've seen that.
All right, let me say this. Let me say this so they understand what we talking about, because, you know, YouTube, you know what I mean? We got the trolls and fake niggas, and I got to give the gunshots to the fake niggas and the trolls. And we ain't going to forget the niggas that wear flip-flops in public. You know? Because I hate them with a passion, you know? But let them know how serious it is about flip-flops, you know what I mean, in the joint. Because people think that they in society that they're safe to go outside as they please, the same way you was in the prison and you thought it was safe to be something you wasn't, to try and get in where you fit in, to be seen how you wanted to be seen instead of being who you were. Speak on that. About a dude wearing flip-flops walking around the joint, man.
Yeah. If you've seen the cat running around with flip-flops, just my interpretation, you really didn't have nobody fucking with you that really put you on point as to where you was and what you had going on. Because in there, and I mean this, you know, and I don't brag on this shit, because like you say, it's what I was telling you before you invited me in on your cast, that I don't glorify that shit. But them young boys need to know what's going on. If you were running around there with some shower slides on, and you was in that New York car, because there was no gangbanging back then when we was in the system. That was shit was in Lawn Park on the West Coast. When I left New York, there was no Bloods and Crips in New York. You know what I mean? If it was,
What
I
year
didn't
you
know
left
nothing
New
about it.
York so they know? Tell them what year.
I came into the system in '92. I met you in '95. You know what I mean? I started off in Raybrook, and I went from Raybrook to some medium joint in mid Pennsylvania. I can't remember what it was. Allenwood. And then from Allenwood, because of my behavior and my attitude and not taking shit serious, they sent me to where y'all niggas was. And yo, son, when if I'm allowed to speak on it, you let me speak on it. Like, remember when you first came to Lewisburg, they had what was called a Quays phase, and the whole, like, they brought you, it was like the AW, that sucker Alexander from SIS, and they brought you in a room, and they showed you a bunch of pictures of niggas laid out dead. Like, stab mark, there was nothing. There was no filter, no nothing, none of that. And this was like, yo, this is what goes on here. And then they said, yeah, you ain't got no co-defendants here? I was like, nah. They was like, all right, you go on the population. I was like, when? They said, you'll go when they send you, don't worry. Go back to the cell. And I never forget this day. To this day, I was telling my wife the other night, when they push you out that door with that bag, and all them niggas just walking around and looking crazy, I'm like, yo, I'm going to die in here, man. I'm going to die in. What the hell am I going to do? And I'm talking about 12, 13, 1,400 people, man, moving in the hallway at one time, man. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know whether I was going to make it or not. And I just had to grasp onto something, hold on to something. Everybody got to be a part of something. You know what I mean? So I migrated to whoever I migrated to. You were one of them niggas, man. You know what I mean? And I learned quick. I was like getting back to that shower shoe shit. Like, I used to walk around the shower shoes, and you used to call me Heavy Hawk. Yo, Heavy Hawk. You remember that shit?
Yeah.
Not Jeff. Not nothing else. Yo, Heavy Hawk. And I was 19. I was probably like 280. I was like a bowling ball. He was like, yo, the shower shoe shit ain't gonna get you on, you heard? I was like, what are you talking about? Shower shoe? The fuck I'm supposed to wear boots all day long? And I just seen it. I was fortunate enough to see it and never be a part of it. But yo, that shower shit ain't gonna get you on. You're gonna get hurt.
For
And
real.
it got to the point. It got to go where the only thing I thought I used the shower shoes for is to put on the toilet when I use the bathroom.
Because we had those stainless steel toilets that freeze your cheeks. Gunshot to the steel toilets. You know?
The silver bullet.
You know? For real. Yeah. But let me take it somewhere, because, you know, I like riding, man. Let me ride with my man, Jeff. Now, when I meet Jeff is the little fat kid, and, you know, I'm in there, so I got everybody gravitating toward me because they know me from the street or know of me from the street. Majority of them knew me because I done been to every state on the East Coast, and Lewisburg was an East Coast jail unless you messed up in the West Coast. So when I get there, everybody crowding around me, and I don't know how Jeff see it, but I'm interpreting it, and you correct me and give me your assessment of how you seen it. He see this young, you know, black dude. I was always cut up, skinny though. And, you know, I work out, do what I do, and, you know, I'm smoking weed, I'm drinking wine, I'm carrying knives, I'm just moving. But I was everything that Jeff wanted to be, but I was being who I was, you know? So Jeff came around me trying to be who I was, and that's why I speak, and I give the brothers from D.C. so much respect. Round of applause to D.C. Round of applause to D.C. You know what I mean? And I'm not signaling them out. You know, I'm not on their joint. I'm just giving the props where it's due so you understand. You understand? I say that about the brothers from D.C. because the brothers from D.C., they got wolves just like they got suckers. Let's get that right. Everywhere you got suckers, you also got wolves. But, you know, the brothers from D.C., you know, they cut from the cloth I'm cut from, the men, you know, of honor and respect and principles and morals. So we respect each person for who they are. We even respect the sheep. You know what I mean? You could be a wolf and respect the sheep. You know what I mean? But when the sheep try and cross over into a wolf's lane, that's when the wolf eat the sheep. You understand what I'm saying? And Jeff used to try and cross over into, a wolf's lane when I knew he was just, and definitely no disrespect to him because he's always been 100%, man. His knuckle game is on 10,000. Let me just say that off the rip. You understand? But his experience and, it wasn't where we was at, and his trials and tribulations wasn't where we was at, So I seen that. And when he used to come around and he comes amongst us wolves and we talking, and we had other sheeps around as well, and we respected them, But when when the sheeps come around, they know to fall back and just listen and soak up game, like what y'all are doing now. You know what I mean? You come to my channel to soak up game, and I try and give it to you respectfully. I don't disrespect nobody. Like I said, I spoke on the Italians. I spoke on the Boston Bandit. I done spoke on the Bloods, the Crips, Chicago, Louisiana, Miami. I speak on everybody. You understand? But I give respect because in a jungle, you got a bird, you got a worm, you got a snake, you got a lion, you got a bear, you got a tiger, and everything stays in its lane. And when they cross each other's path, it's respect. None of them try and jump out of that lane and into the lane of what is crossing. It just continued to be itself. Am I saying it right, Jeff?
I'm saying 100% right.
So now let me go on with that. Why I mentioned DC. Because a lot of people, they try and be around the DC brothers the same way they try to be around me because we aggressive. You know what I mean? We live. You know what I mean? We exciting. We got the energy. We got all of that. But when you come around, just be you, my nigga. That's what I'm saying. Now let me say this, right? When you fake trolls come to a gangster's channel, you know what I mean? Respect my house, man.
Yeah.
Respect my house. Because I respect you for being a troll. And that's not a disrespect. It's the same way I respect the birds in my yard, the groundhog in my yard, the squirrels in my yard. I don't go out chasing them when I see them. You know what I mean? They go and do what they do and they get out my way. And I get out theirs. It's called respect. You know what I mean? But when dudes try and cross over and be something they wasn't, and that's why I love the growth in Jeff, because Jeff came around trying to be something he wasn't. And with him here, because I don't talk behind nobody back and I don't disrespect nobody, I just keep it 100. It was a number of times where I was going to take this man's life and he didn't even know it. He didn't even know it. Because, let me say this, I gave Jules, man, like I said, my phone number getting ready to come up. If y'all want to send me a Cash App, call that phone number. You get to talk to me. I don't care if it's $1 or whatever. And I'm going to send you a request so you can send it to me. Because if you go and try and send it, if you haven't sent it before and you're a first time sender, you're going to get confused because somebody duplicated my Cash App. And you fake ass trolls, you fake ass niggas that come here to get my game for nothing, gunshots to you niggas. You know what I mean? Just sit back, man. Just sit back and relax. You know what I mean? And play your position. You know what I mean? But now I say this to say that Jeff tried, every time I talked, because I was always small. I came in about $150, and like he said, they 280. You know what I mean? So, and his knuckle game was vicious. You understand? So every time I talk, he took it like I was faking, I was wailing, I was trying to be something I'm not, and he laughed and ridiculed, like how would dude go to a comedy show and heckle somebody? You understand? And less than a year before that, the feds brought me in, handcuffed me to a table and shackled me to a floor with solid steel government chains and laid out pictures of my brother with his brains blown out, telling me that the fox hunt is over. Y'all was slippery, but we got y'all and we killed this nigga. Excuse me, brother Muhammad 3X, but today I got to talk to my people the way we talk. You know what I mean? Big shout out to, brother Muhammad 3X. He told me refrain from the N-word, But I'm just letting y'all know that, it's so real in there. that this brother used to heckle me, and the other wolves around me is looking at me and they giving me in the eye like, you don't do it. They pulled me aside and said, you don't do it. And I'm like, yo, but that nigga don't know. And he like, yo, he don't know. You know what I mean? How could you hold him responsible for what he don't know? He 19, he don't know. You understand? And I said, but I like the kid. You know what I mean? And they like, yo, but he don't know. So if you like him, yo, spare him for me. You understand what I'm saying? So that's how I dealt with it a lot. Where, dude, tell them about when someone even pulled you up and tried to give you the game without exposing my hand what I was going to do to you.
Yeah, it was deep, you. Like, I remember one time we were in the bathroom downstairs, me, Dex, Youngin, I don't know if Bounty was down there. I don't know, and I forgot that one dude, he was from Baltimore. He had, I don't know if you remember him. He had did like 12, 13 joints.
You talking about Ricky Duval?
Yeah,
Yeah, family.
When he went up to the front of R&D, the feds were there, the marshals there to pick him up about his big mouth on the phone. He caught another charge in the joint.
Yeah, Ricky. So, big shout out to Ricky Duval. That's family, Baltimore's finest.
Yeah, that's people. Mm-hmm. And we were in the bathroom. Remember, we used to do the pull-ups in the bathroom downstairs. We had the metal ball stalls. And we were down there doing our thing. And Dex, man, you messed me up with that. R.I.P. Dex, man. Dex was a good dude. He was like, hey, yo, Jeff. I'm like, what's up? Stop playing with Unique, man. Like, for real. I'm like, what? He's like, yo, stop playing with him. I'm like, yo, I just be playing. I just be, you know what I mean? Like what we used to call back then, because we know we older brothers, like doing time. I'm just doing my time off the nigga, man. He was like, he ain't the one to do the time. I'm like, yo, he ain't gonna do shit. I was that naive. I had to laugh. Like, I was literally that naive. I was like, yo, he ain't gonna do nothing. Typical 19-year-old, you know what I mean? But in a different, I gotta say this, like, New York is a different monster than from anywhere else I've been. I've been to quite a few different states in my life, man. But New York is a different monster. New York is it's like I said, it's different. And I was like, what you mean stop playing? He was like, yo, every time you be talking, you be laughing, you be joking. You know what I mean? He was like, yo, Holmes is a real dude, man. I'd be like, yeah, like I said, I was just brushing. Because I didn't know. I didn't know the extent. And I had been around a lot of killers, man. And a lot of dudes, but I gotta say, shout out to you, how you really, truly that nigga, excuse my language, because I know you say you don't like the N-word, but I'm working on that. Mm-hmm. When you have the power to do something, or do something to somebody, and you don't do it, that's a lot of power. That's true power. That's real gangster shit. You know what I mean? I told my nephew the other day, I was like, he's like, yo, that make you mad? You didn't want to react? I said, nah, just the power of knowing that I can, but I can't, but I don't. I said, that was good for me right then and there. And I really didn't know you. Like I just told you, we just talked prior to you allowing me to come on here and talk. And he was like, yo, Jeff, really, man? I could have been looking up at the lights. You know what I mean? And, like I said, for that, I truly apologize, but I'm thankful. Alhamdulillah. I'm thankful because I'm still here. I'm still here. And the conversation that we had this morning is the same conversation that I had with my uncle prior to me getting married. Mm-hmm. He said, yo, stop trying to be something that you're not. He said, niggas like you, Jeff, for who you are. Because you play ball, you're a funny dude, you smart, you got wit. He's like, let that lead you. Not that shit. He said, that shit ain't about nothing. At 50, man, I'm still receiving correct behavior. But you, I never really knew, because nobody up until this point, nobody ever pulled my coat the way you just did a few minutes ago before we talked, before we came live. You know what I mean? Like, and I love you, boy, for that, because, like, wow. I really, like, this ain't no put on. I don't tell lies. No need to tell lies. Like my wife tell me. I'll be like, yo, you ain't. She's like, why you tell that lie? She's like, yo, Jeff, I ain't tell no lie. I ain't afraid of you. You know what I mean? You told the truth, you. Mm-hmm. And really, it's going to, that right there, like, I can't wait to talk to my wife when she get up for work, when we go to the track and walk and tell her, yo, This man just took me to another level, man. Because I didn't know. So now I have even more things to be thankful for. And there should be more people like you in that system that's needed. Because everybody behind them walls ain't got elbows, but you got a lot of young boys with a lot of time with no guidance. And them older cats like us, they ain't playing with them because we scared of them, and they gonna knock them off. I love you for that, you, for real. Like, you did that, bro. I took you. I really never underestimated you on some rah-rah shit. It was never that. It was just like I was a clown, man. You know what I mean? Trying to fit in, wanted to fit in. I had to find a reason and a purpose to do this bid. I had to find something to hold on to while I did them 8 years because I didn't have a lane. And I used to look up to niggas like y'all. You know what I mean? As a kid growing up, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, your name was everywhere. Your name, Poe name, you know what I'm saying? Batman, you know what I mean? Few Boricuas in my neighborhood. Y'all niggas, so I'm like, but then when I seen you, you know, when you take away a man's possessions, man, the material possessions, you take away all the cars you had, all the clubs you had, the millions and millions of dollars that you made you, and then you just strip us down to a stinking ass brown jumpsuit or some khakis. You may have a tendency to view a nigga in a different way because he's stripped of that. You know what I mean? And you be like, yo, this nigga's loud, boisterous, always laughing, always joking. Man, this cat right here ain't shit. But I was wrong. And again, at the risk of being redundant, man, I thank you, man. And I thank them cats that was in your ear that were telling you like, yo, son, chill. That nigga's not, you know what I mean? Like, spare him. So, real shit, man. I love you for that, boy. Like, really, man. You know what I mean? Because you could have took your anger out on me. And really, it would have been, like, something like misdirected anger now, it would have been justifiable, man, because you said it so eloquently when you refer to animals and the lanes that all the animals are in. And everything moves in harmony. And when something that does not belong in that lane comes into that lane, it disrupts. And a nigga be ready to demonstrate. But the power that you had, that I have no, and the maturity that you had, and what you were going through, you displayed that well. Take a bow, my nigga. Like, yes, sir.
See, this is what it is, man, for the viewers to understand. You know, and let me get close to this camera. That way you know you can see me. Like Jeff even said that one of his co-workers asked him, "Why am I always wearing dark glasses?" You know, my pupils are black. I have no color to my pupils. You understand what I'm saying? When you look at my eyes, you see the death that I've experienced, the death that I've walked amongst. You know what I mean? And I don't want to scare you away. You know what I mean? It scares me when I look in the mirror. You know what I mean? Because when I look in the mirror, it's like, you know, those TV shows where you see somebody hold light flash before them, you know? But when my life flashed before me, it's nothing but death and blood. Death and blood. The glitz and glamour and cars and all that I had, that wasn't nothing. You know what I mean? You know, that's why I don't glorify that. You know what I mean? It's me seeing my brother with his brains blown out. It's me, you know, seeing a man getting murdered on the corner and continuing to sell the drugs and laughing at him. You know what I mean? And tell somebody, yo, go get a 40 so I can pour one out for this dumb nigga because he couldn't move out here, you know? And that's how I was. The same way Jeff was, that's why I was. Let me tell you something, Jeff. I got a homeboy that I grew up with in Jersey named Dwight. I'm going to say his whole name, named Dwight Horn. This kid was huge but solid. Every bit of 260, 280 growing up when I was drinking some pink stuff back, you know, in the late 70s, early 80s called weight gain to put weight on because I was trying to get to 120 pounds and this dude is like 260 solid. And he was, you know, me and my brother's friend. He's older than me, but I ran with the older dudes. I used to snap on him all the time like you did me. You know, call him old Dusty. You know, we always from Jamaica, so I learned the language a little better. So I look by your old blood clot, Dusty Fierce for critters in their fierce, and I just kept laughing and laughing and joking and joking and joking. And the dude used to tell me, yo, you need to chill out. You know what I mean? And I just, man, screw that. And I'm still joking the same way you did when I was telling you chill. You understand? And then one day we was walking through a yard to go down to the liquor store, and I kept teasing him when he was going through something, and he turned around and he beat my body down. I was 115 pounds. He was 280. He put mitts on me. He beat my body down. And that's where I learned my lesson. You understand what I'm saying? That when a man tell you to fall back, that animal is about to come out the cage, you know to listen. You know to listen. You know, and I'm ignoring all of his warnings, you know, but he respected me so much, he never hit me in the face. He just beat my body down because I couldn't do, only thing I could do was grab a brick or a pole or a weapon to fight back, and I still would have got whipped. You know what I mean? But he just respectfully beat my body down. You understand? But then as I got older, you know what I mean? It was like, you know, in the jungle that I began to run in when you know, I hit the streets, you know, it wasn't about beating the body down. It was about taking a life to let them know that you're not the one to play with. Because if you beat the body down, somebody on the outside would look in and say you soft because you didn't bust him in the face. You know what I mean? Yeah. So we take it to the next level. You understand? And it's like, I thought about, you know, Whitey a number of times while you was heckling me. You know what I mean? And you was too big for me to beat your body down. So I just wanted to take your life. You know what I mean? I'm just keeping it 100. You know what I mean?
Y'all were running around. I remember one day we were walking down the hall. I don't know if you remember the kid. I think he was from the Bronx, Naquan. Naquan seen that I wanted, you know, I didn't really have people for the tree. One day was on a Saturday, and you know how it used to be in the burg on Saturday. Everybody be out there selling this and selling that. It was like a little swap meet when we walked through. And I was like, hey, yo, son, you were always there for me, my nigga. Like real shit. Like you ain't never. It was never no funny shit. You never wavered. You would have stayed with me every day. I was like, hey, yo. I was joking. It was a joker, right? I was like, yo, what's wrong with that nigga leg? You must have knocked him off or something like that. He walking a little crazy. Some catalog. When we got in the kitchen, when we sat down, I never forgot many conversations we had over the years. You said, yo, stop playing so much, man. What the fuck you talking about? He was like, yo, you know why that nigga was limping? I was like, nah. He was like, you nigga ready to go do something. You nigga got a sword on him that probably come from his hip to his ankle bone. Y'all niggas running around with knives like that. He-Man.
So let me explain to them what you're saying, because that might have went over their head. We in Lewisburg back in 1995, you know? We walking down the hallway, and there's a brother walking and could barely walk. You know what I mean? He's walking like his leg is just all the way messed up, and he just looked crazy. So it looked like he was maybe retarded, whatever. You know what I mean? But that's how he's interpreting. But this man had a knife that was made from the bunk bed, you know? That was this big, you can't even see it in the screen. It was about maybe 3 feet long, man. And he taking that joint to the yard to go move it, to go do whatever he had to do. And this man is sitting here laughing at him. Now, what if that man would have took that joint out and started swinging it at him? I would have had to help him because that's my brother. Even though he was heckling me, teasing me, didn't respect me, is what it was. Because that's how I looked at it. Respect is everything. He wasn't respecting me. But I wasn't going to let nobody do nothing to him. So I sat him down in the kitchen. I said, my brother, that man got a sword on him and you sitting there laughing at him, man. You trying to make us either get killed or have to kill this dude. Slow down, man. You know what I mean? And he kept talking and laughing because he still didn't even understand it then. I'm just glad now, here it is 30 years later, 28 years later, he understands. You know? That's how serious it was.
Yo, that I didn't even know you was my guardian angel. I didn't even know, you heard? You know me, I've been through a lot of my life, man. You know, I know that we're speaking live and probably millions of people are gonna see this, thousands of people are gonna see this thing, man. But I don't lie. I don't do no lying. I'm not. My wife used to say sometimes you need to lie because I'm so straightforward. You know what I mean? Like, saved my life, my nigga. Didn't even know it. My wife has a lady that told me a couple of days ago that one of her clients, she said, there was something about your husband. She was like, what? She was like, he's got something on him. And there's some things that's meant for him to do. And when she told me that, it broke me down and started crying. And then now me talking to you this morning, it's manifesting itself, and I'm really understanding it, man. Cause like for all the people that listen to your pod, man, you ain't never putting on, man. I'm being real with you. He ain't putting on everything he's telling you. It was that. And for me, like you heard what he said, my knuckle game was on 10,000. But you can't do nothing when you got bone crushers hitting you. And you can't do nothing but hope that you don't hit a main artery and you don't die. And I'm here. I am playing with you, and you're right, man. I didn't respect you because I didn't respect myself.
Mm-hmm.
How could you have respect or love for others if you don't have that for yourself? So it wasn't an intentional thing. I didn't have it. You know what I mean? I took everything and everybody as a joke. And you literally saved my life. You know what I mean? Probably on more than one occasion, not even from you, but from other niggas in there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know. You know what I mean? That's why that's why, Unique, Allah's blessing you the way he's blessing you. Because you ain't had to tell me that. You could have just received the accolades of like, all right, my nigga, you be good down there in GA, hold it down, and what on about your business, but you didn't. You didn't. And I'm definitely so thankful and gracious for that, man. You know what I mean? Like, I came a long way, man, because of cats like you. You know what I mean? I never knew you. Like, I'm really, like, for me, like, these days, like, I'm just, like, really, 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 really quiet. You know what I mean? I really don't, I'm more, like, seen than not heard. But, like, for you to tell me that, it's overwhelming for me. You know what I mean? Because I never knew. I never knew that. And I love you, B, because if you ain't had love for me, I would have been out of here. The way you explain it to me, and I see it now. I really do. I really, 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 really do. Do you remember them two cats? One was from the Bronx and one was from Brooklyn. One of them, name was Gelser, Robbie Gelser. They got caught up on some bank robbery joints in Atlanta, and they had us in where was the cell block? You were across the street from CDU. That was H block, right?
Yeah.
I used to play with the nigga.
Oh, yeah, they did the legal work and they worked together. Yeah, good brothers, man. Out of Brooklyn, yeah.
We all worked in PM Kitchen.
Yeah.
You know, that nigga Rob was like you, but his Cody, he was a
I think Cody's name was Dante, right?
Dante.
Yeah.
Yo, son, one morning I came up there. You know how they used to get his hustle on, bringing shit from the child home, fucking with the Italians and everybody to make, put the money on the books for the food. So I had promised them, they had some type of coffee cake or something like that. And I promised them, I was like, I'll bring you one in the morning. You don't owe me nothing, B. And I ended up bringing it up there. Long story short, like, I got smart with him, Like, always had a smart mouth. And I got smart with him. And then I went back to the cell. And when I was coming out the cell to go to the shower, he was coming down the cell, and this Cody came out the hall and was like, yo, Dante, I told you no. And I was like, I laughed like, yo, this nigga right here, crying over a coffee cake. Yo, this nigga was getting ready to come push that steel in me, my nigga, and I didn't even know. A lot of situations, man.
Let me explain that. Hold on, Jeff. Let me explain that one to them so they understand, man. So they understand. Because, Listen, and I'm gonna get close to the camera again, man, because you know we got these fake ass trolls, nigga. I wore some lighter shades so you could at least see a little bit of my eyes today. Now, he went and he promised to bring a man, you know what I mean, something from the kitchen, you know. And I remember that day, you know, intently because I'm one of them that talked to them because they came to me and said, "Yo, that little nigga that you be with in your block." The nigga violated. I said, "What happened?" He said, "Man, he's supposed to bring me a coffee cake, and he told me that he sold it to somebody else."
Yeah, that's what it was, you.
I know that's what it was, because I saved your life then.
Whoa.
So, listen, so my man is telling me that my little homie promised him something, had his hands on it, and then sold it and gave it to somebody else. In the joint, in the street, in the jungle. That's why I tell you youngins, don't get involved in this world. It's not worth it because the rules, codes, and principles and morals that go with this is beyond your comprehension. But in my man's mind, he looked at it like he disrespected him because he sold his coffee cake. His coffee cake. And I had to explain to, you know, my homie that, yo, family, the coffee cake that the youngin had, that the youngin sold before he got to you, that he promised you he was going to bring to you, it's not yours until he give it to you. You know what I mean? Until then, it's still his. And he can still do what he want to do with it. You know what I mean? And you know what his defense was? And he was 100% right. He said, but he gave me his word he was going to bring it.
No, man.
And that's all we got is our word in there.
That's all we got is our word.
And he violated his word with me, so that means he disrespected me. Like, I'm not man enough for him to honor his word with me, so I got to show him, you know what I mean, who I am. And his co-defendant, like he said, was, you know, was more like me on some, you know, respectable, humble time. But his man was a gun that just laid back, didn't mess with nobody, but they bust their gun. Everybody knew don't mess with these two brothers. And they wasn't loud, they wasn't out. And that's what rocked Jeff to sleep.
Wow.
That they just chilled and stayed amongst themselves and did their legal work and fought to get off their bank robberies, because that's how men do. But you can't promise a man something, you know what I mean, and don't honor your word. Because now you're showing that you less of a man. Because you don't have a word. If a man don't have his word, he don't have nothing. The feds took everything from me. They took my cars, my homes, they took my clubs, they took my money, they took me away from my family. But they didn't take my tongue to stop me from being in control of my word. Anything that I say, I must honor. And if I don't honor that, that means I'm a dishonorable person. And in our world, a dishonorable person don't deserve to live. That's why I said before, I tell on my brother, whether he's dead or alive, I will fall on my own sword. I will sit in the darkest dungeon before I violate my manhood, my honor. Because that's all I have. And I know this is new and complex to y'all. So that's why I say don't get involved, man. Because just like Jeff crossed the path of a real wolf, and a wolf, you know, don't bark. So you're not even going to know it's a wolf.
You're not going to know.
You're not even going to know.
One of my favorite movies, is with Denzel. When he told him, he said, yo, he told his baby brother Huey, he said, yo, the loudest one in the room is the weakest one. Mm-hmm. But I beg to differ though in certain situations though. You know what I mean? Unique, because I have been in my experience during that tour that we made that I knew some loud ones, but their bite was just as loud as their bark.
Mm-hmm. No. We know that because there is no such. Everyone is like this. You know what I mean? There's no such. You know what I mean? It's always like this. So there's always exceptions to the rules. But normally when a person,
you were one of them.
You know,
I said that to say because you were one of them, and I had no idea. You know what I mean? I had no idea. It was like every day we come out the cell, it was like, I got 8 years, 3 months to do. I'm playing, I'm joking. And then, how do I didn't even have what's a good way to say it? I didn't even have I didn't even know what a virtue was or a word was or honor this and this or that, because prior to me coming to the Federal Bureau of Prisons, I wasn't no street nigga, man. I just was a cat that grew up. I grew up in East Harlem, and then when my people died, I moved to Staten Island. Like, I wasn't that. You know what I'm saying? I just looked up to y'all niggas. Like, I wasn't that. And again, like I said, I just buried my uncle, man, 3 days ago, and they said his name is Lil Toot. She said, I'm not here to talk about Lil Toot, but I'm here to toot Lil Toot horn. I'm here to toot your horn, homie. You know what I mean? You had a lot of power, and you could have had me ate. You could have had a lot of different things done to me. Even my life taken, or you personally taking my life, but you did. Because you was like you just said, my nigga, you just say, yo, he don't know. Yeah, yo, because that day when I went to bring that cake to Dante, I met somebody coming up the stairs. You know how the blind side and H block is blind side. I'm coming up, he coming up. I'm young, I'm energy. He's like, yo, Jeff, what up? So what's up with that cake? I'm like, what's up? He's like, yo, I'll send 20 to your books right now. I'm like, yeah, come on, let's do it. Not thinking that I promised my man I'll be in this nigga cell every day, all day. What we do, puff lie, stories, lead work. They fucked with me. They didn't fuck with nobody. They were like you. They really liked me. You know what I'm saying? Amidst the bullshit they were going through, they fucked with Jeff, man. And I didn't even know. That man would get ready to, I don't know if he want to body me, but who plays like that anyway? Who hit and don't incapacitate so that they don't get seen about on a return? So I didn't, you know what I mean? Yeah, man, you did that, you did that. I literally, man, like, I'm here. Now, you're responsible for, because son, for all your listeners that know, I don't know why they don't take you serious. I think they do. That's why they tune in. Because this shit it seemed entertainment, but this shit ain't no entertainment. You know what I mean? Listen, man, when you tell them, boy, man, you the real deal, boy. Like, we went through a lot back there, man. And for you to go through what you went through, losing your brother, and you know what I'm saying, that ridiculous sentence that they gave you, for you to be humble and care about somebody else amidst the shit that you were going through, son, you had a bow. You had an elbow. It was like, you could have been, I remember one time you used to call them niggas the Walking Dead. Remember you used to say that to me all the time?
Yeah.
You'd be like, yo, we're the Walking Dead niggas. And I never understood that 2 years later when I came home. You was like, I remember one, what the fuck you talking about, God? You were like, yo, Jeff, them niggas is ready for a nigga when he wake up every morning, he was ready for somebody to kill him. Because they were tired of living. Or he was going to kill somebody. You know what I mean? You never adapted that attitude, and you had every right to. And you wouldn't have been wrong, but you didn't. Yeah, it's crazy, man.
And, like I said, that's why I tell the youngins, man, don't get involved in this, man. And that's why, like I said, I always give gunshots to the trolls, man. Because y'all don't know what we've been through. You don't know where we've been. You don't know where we going. You don't even know where you going. You know what I mean? Let's just fall back and enjoy the ride, man. And take the jewels that's being given. Like I said, you see me in person and see my eyes you've never seen. You know what I mean? Listen, so they understand. I've looked in my comrades' eyes, and they're blacker than tar. You understand? I've looked in strangers' eyes, and they're blacker than tar. You know? And that's how I know who been through hell. You understand? But from looking at that blackness, you don't know if they back or not. You know what I mean? You don't know if they back or not. So when I see a nigga with eyes like mine, I know to just stay out his way and let him have his lane, man. You
That's
know?
what you should call them. You call them the Walking Dead. I'm telling you, my coworker asked the other day, right? Because I got her on you. I hope I don't give you no trouble what I was saying, what I'm getting ready to say, though. But she was like, yo, what's up with him? She was like, damn, da 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 da. I was like, yeah, that's my people. That's my old head. Why we going on? She was like, yo, Jeff, this, that, and the third. But she was like, hey, I got one question to ask you. They don't hear no matter how many times I tell them you, and I've been a GA for 25 years. Every time I tell them stop that, Jeff is my name, yo, they always New York. Yo, New York. So that's what she called me. She was like, New York. She said, he's a handsome nigga. Why the fuck he always got them glasses on? So I had, I didn't even answer her until like maybe a little while later because I had to think about how I want to answer her. You know what I'm saying? In case she wanted to holler, I didn't want to scare her off. You know what I mean? So when I came back, I told her she was saying something, and she walked by and she was like, "Yo, why you always got that look in your eye? Like, what's wrong with you, nigga?" And I was like, "Nika, that's what I wanted to tell you." I said, "You just showed me how I want to answer you." She said, "What do you mean by that?" I said, "You see how I look?" I said, "How I look?" She said, she said, "Jeff," she said, "for you to be a 50-year-old nigga, you know what I'm saying? You look well." She was like, skin clear. You know how we hold it down. We still look good. You know what I mean? But she was like, your eyes, it's always about your eyes. They scare me from time to time. I said, that man been through a lot. I said, you ever heard the term that the eyes are the window to a person's soul? I was like, yeah. I said, maybe he want to keep them on. Maybe you get to know him with them on. Then he'll take them off like the little nigga from Big Daddy. When he had the glasses on, he was invisible. I killed that shit for you, you heard? And when she walked away, she turned back, she said, "Big Daddy?" I said, "Yeah, Big Daddy." Yo, cause you remember in the movie, if you remember Big Daddy, he was so shy that he told little nigga, he was like, "Yo, put the glasses on, you'll be invisible, B." You know what I mean? But when you take them off, they can see you. And I took that on such a higher level, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But man, yo, listen, man, life is hard, man. Yo, Jeff, I don't want to be on here or all day, man. But we gonna do. If y'all want Jeff back on here, I'll bring him on live next time where you could actually see him. You could even ask him questions because shit is real, man. Shit is real. That's why I'm telling you, don't get involved, man. Don't do it. You know what I mean? Because you don't know who you're gonna cross paths with. You don't know who you're gonna violate because you remember Big B when we was in ADX, you know?
Do I? Yeah.
Okay, me and Big B was on the same team. We used to come out every day, and I remember I used to bring all my letters and pictures and all that. He used to read them, you know?
Yeah, I try to get that. I want to come to the window so I can see too.
You know what I mean? But I couldn't even read my own letters because at this time I couldn't read or write. So my man used to read the letters for me, and then they had something. I got to tell about that story too, where it was the California MA versus the Texas MA in the Federal Bureau of Prisons, so they locked the joint down. Remember when they was locking us down over there for all the killings with the Texas MA and the California MA? Well, we were locked down for about 2 weeks, and I got this much mail that I couldn't even read. All I could do was just look at the pictures. So we finally went out there. I go out there, and the police telling me, "Man, you can't go out there with all that in the yard, because you ain't allowed to bring nothing in the yard at ADX." But I explained to the police that I can't read, so my man gonna read them to me, And when I told this young boy that, he looked at me and he was stunned. He was so stunned that he just said, "Man, go ahead." He didn't even know how to respond to a black man that got my type of caliber juice and power sitting here admitting to him, "Man, I can't read, man. My man gonna read this for me in the yard."
That's humility, man.
So so I take the letters to the yard, and as soon as we go out there, because they bring us out different times. I'm already out there first, so I got my big stack of letters piled up on the side, waiting to holler at the homie, got our little cut ready. And as soon as he come out, I say, "Damn, I missed you, bitch ass nigga, where you been at?" And I'm all happy, and he just, and I'm talking to him like, "Man, look how this shit done piled up," and and he's like, so he sat there and, he read a couple of letters, but he wasn't into it like he normally get into, what the females are saying or the homies are saying. And he just reading them. So we get ready to leave. He pulled me aside and he said, "Man," he said, "Yo, you, He said, man, you know, I've been in the feds longer than you, so you might not understand this. He said, on the street, you do what you want to do, say what you want to say, go where you want. Nigga don't like it, you do what you got to do. He said, but you my brother, you know. He said, I'm from Chicago. He said, we don't call each other bitches. We don't use that word with each other. And I said, come on, dog, I didn't mean it in no way. You know, I was like, I'm just happy to see you. Come on. You know, come on. And he's like, yo, we don't do that. You know? And that's when I learned my first lesson in geographical locations, that in New York, you know what I mean? I mean, all the fake trolls could say what they want. You know what I mean? Just like a female nowadays, them fake trolls, true. They'll sit there and say, oh, don't call me a bitch. But then they'll talk to their girlfriend and be like, bitch, look what I just got. A bitch gonna be fly at the club. But then somebody called them a bitch, now they want to fight them, but they calling themselves it, talking to each other about it. But, you know, so that's how we was in New York. You see, we bitch ass nigga, and, you know, throw your hands up and, you know, you bullshitting, but you're not taking, you feeling me?
All the way.
You know?
All the way, because when I'm around my people now, we carry on like that still. So, but it's a difference though. I understand.
You understand? So, you know, that's why I said we got the fake ass trolls that they say, oh, I ain't never caught nobody this, but that was you. All right, stop it. You know what I mean? Like I said, everything ain't for everybody. But anyway, so he broke that down to me, and he said, man, I humbly respect that you don't, you know, you don't do that again, big bro. I said, family, I'm going to respect you any way you want to respect yourself. And I'm going to refrain from doing that. And the same way the N word slip out is the same way the B word would slip out. But it was always in happiness and, you know what I mean, from coming together. And he
never
just...
in a humiliating way, ever.
Say it again?
Never, we've never said it in a demeaning or humiliating way.
Exactly. You understand? So, you know, that's what it is, man. Yo, Jeff, we've been on here an hour, man. We gonna do this again. Yo, man, I love you, man. You know what I mean? And I'm proud of the man that you became, because if it was, you know what I mean? And you know, not toot my horn and nothing, but I'm just saying, you know, if it wasn't for me always looking out for you, because you got into a lot of shit with your mouth. Just like I got in a lot of shit with my mouth because I was young and reckless too. You know what I mean? So I'm just keeping it 100. You know, and he'll tell you, listen, listen, I don't think anybody got a more nastier mouth than me.
Cameron.
You know what I mean? Nobody got a nastier mouth than me, man. You know what I mean? I'm going to keep it 100. Huh? You know, I mean, I used to have niggas ready to fight, and I tell man, go get your knife, nigga. You know what I mean? That's what it is, nigga. Screw you. However you want to take it, you take it. You know, and that was me. You know, and Jeff right here tell you, you know what I mean? Come on, I don't want to hear that shit. You know? Yo, listen, man, we both came a long way, man. I'm proud of you, big bro. You know what I mean? But I'm going to bring him back. Y'all put in the comments what y'all think about this, man. You know, I met him when he was 19. He had 8.5 years when I had life plus 20. And these people put him amongst me. And he's never even been in a police car or police station before he got picked up on a charge that they classified him to come amongst me and my peers. You must have pissed somebody off in that courtroom, Jeff.
No, you know what it was.
You had to piss somebody off to wind up in Lewisburg, man, with 8 years, my dog.
No, you said it, my mouth.
Yeah,
man.
see? They sent you there for you to get killed. You know, that's what they sent you there for. Like, you know, they sent me to Victorville 2018. You know what I mean?
I heard about that spot too.
Yeah, they sent me to Victorville to get killed in 2018. You understand? But, you know, Allah looked out for me, and I met a psychiatrist there that, you know, looked at my jacket and was amazed at my transformation and everything that I've done in the prison to help the youth in the prison. And she put me on to start those programs in California. And then the Honorable Donald Trump that y'all don't like. You know what I mean?
I love you. What you be saying you on your joint? Gunshots. Big up to Donald Trump.
Big up to Donald Trump. You know what I mean? Obama got in office, ain't have the balls to do it. You know, Bush, everybody else. Nobody had the balls to do it. So we got to give Donald Trump his gunshots. Donald Trump. tried to, you know, and I don't care who don't like it, man. Like I said, I speak how it is. And put it in the comments. Donald Trump let out my brother Lou Sims, let out my brother William Underwood, let out my brother Guy Fisher. You understand? Let out my brother Ken Do. Yeah, got home. You understand what I'm saying?
Ken Do home, yeah.
Come on, man. God, listen, man.
Yeah.
Listen, they trying to do everything, and I'm not gonna get into politics right now. They try to do everything to, you know, to stop Donald Trump from running for president because America's finally getting awoke. You know,
That's it.
they wasn't used to seeing a real New Yorker. You know what I mean? In action. You know, an arrogant New Yorker, and that's what they meant when they met Donald Trump. But now they realize that forget his mouth. You know, let's look at his actions.
I'm trying to tell you. Yo, son, I love you. You heard, like, for real, man. I hope you keep my number. I'm coming soon. You know what I mean? I'm thinking about probably coming for my anniversary. I haven't really decided yet. You know what I mean? But
Let me know. I'll be honored to spend a day with you and your family, my brother.
Man, I would love to, man. Me and my wife come up. Let me ask you, Jimmy's still open in the Bronx, or it's a wrap with that?
No, he got another spot further up in the Bronx. I forgot the name of the street he on, but I'll take you up there. That's my man. You know, you talking about the old Jimmy's Cafe. I forgot what they call it now. He got it's a Spanish name, so I don't know how to pronounce it, but he up there in the Bronx. He still the man.
Yeah, yeah. Yo, I love you, boy. Please lock my number in, man. If it's okay with you, I like to call. We'll talk.
All right. I got you, family. I got you, man. I'm proud of you for the man you become, man. It make me know that, you know, what I endured from you wasn't in vain. You know?
It definitely wasn't. It definitely wasn't.
Because you pushed every button that the law gave me, my brother.
And I'm gonna let you go after this. Yo, my wife told me the other day. She said, "Yo, they gave me a nickname after we parted way called Chick." So she called me Chicky. She said, "Yo, Chicky, let me tell you something." She said, "You the only man in all of my years, not even my daddy, that know how to push every motherfucking button."
Thank you, and that's what you did with me, my brother. You know, I mean, yo, I had to mentally nail my feet to the ground. You know. To stop from jumping on your motherfucking ass. Now let me go. All right, one family.
One, baby.
All right.
Cheers, toast the crime, toast the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime.
Fresh out the can of 26, he back on the strip, getting back in the mix. What he mentions a gift. You stand up 10 toes down, and I suggest you pay attention to this. Real. Take a little gully posse and put it in Harlem. He cut from the bottom, came up from the bottom. Drop the book, you should go and get it. The Instagram page and the YouTube, you could go and visit. Then you could consider yourself LinkedIn. Sit front row and get Jews from a kingpin. How he went through it, so you ain't gotta go do it. To not pay attention would be stupid. Talking about a man that probably put your grandfather on. Probably the reason that him and your grams got along. A man that generated millions on the block, did his time, never squilling to the cops, make an audio. Get it live like 2 G's in the 90s. Drop top beamer so shiny. I let shorty go, she was whining. Treat her like my past, she behind me. Spend a couple bands on the Dapper Dan. You be back again, getting green like a Packers fan. No cap, it's a roaring uptown. They be horn uptown, Dominican bust downs. Now we on the positive, we got a lot to give. Now he trying to stop the kids from being inoperative. So take heed, homie, lend an ear. He started in uptown, he gon' finish dead. But now it ain't about selling drugs, buying cars. It's about buying property to make the community ours. So we can give back to the youth them. Cause they the truth them. And bless up to all the road men.